All right, today we're going deep, and I mean deep, beneath the surface of Chihuahua, Mexico. We're going to explore a place that honestly defies imagination, the Naica Crystal Cave. It's truly one of the greatest geological wonders on the entire planet. But as you're about to see, it's also one of the most beautiful and deadliest. Okay, so to really get a feel for this place, I want you to picture Superman's Fortress of Solitude. You know, these massive, towering, see-through crystal beams, some as long as a school bus, just jutting out everywhere. It sounds like something straight out of a comic book, right? Well, it's very, very real.
But, and this is a huge but, there's a massive catch. This real-life Fortress of Solitude is one of the most hostile environments on Earth. So hostile, in fact, that if you were to just walk in there unprotected, you would not survive for more than 15 minutes. So what is it that makes this unbelievably beautiful place so incredibly deadly? Let's break down the science behind this lethal paradise. First up, the heat. The air inside this cave is a blistering 58 degrees Celsius. That's 136 degrees Fahrenheit. To put that in perspective, that's hotter than the hottest temperature ever recorded in Death Valley. Just think about that for a second. But, you know, the heat alone isn't the real killer. It's this number, 100% relative humidity. The air is completely and totally saturated with water vapor. So what does that mean? It means your sweat can't evaporate. Your body's natural air conditioning system, the main way you cool down, just stops working. Your core temperature starts to climb, and it climbs fast. And this is where it gets truly terrifying. Just the stuff of nightmares. When you breathe in that super hot, wet air, it hits your cooler lungs, which are around 37 degrees Celsius. That sudden drop in temperature forces the moisture in the air to instantly condense back into liquid water, inside your lungs. You effectively begin to drown in the very air you're trying to breathe. So when you put it all together, it's just a perfect storm of horrors. You've got extreme heat causing hyperthermia, 100% humidity that shuts down your body's cooling system, your lungs literally filling up with water, and on top of all that, the air itself has acidic components. It's an environment that's attacking your body from every possible angle. Okay, but here is the most unbelievable twist in this whole story. Those same lethal conditions we just talked about, specifically that magical 58-degree temperature, are the exact secret ingredient needed to grow these giant crystals in the first place.
It all comes down to two key minerals. First up is this stuff called anhydrite. For thousands and thousands of years, the water filling these caves was hotter than 58 degrees Celsius, and it was depositing massive amounts of this mineral.
The second mineral is gypsum, specifically a crystal clear version called selenite, and this is what the giant crystals are actually made of. But here's the thing, gypsum is only stable when the water is cooler than 58 degrees. See where this is going? And this is where the magic happens. Deep below the cave, a magma chamber slowly cooled over geologic time. The moment that water temperature dipped just below that 58-degree tipping point, everything flipped. Anhydrite became unstable and started to dissolve, while gypsum became stable. So the dissolving anhydrite provided the slow, steady, perfect food source of calcium sulfate, allowing the gypsum crystals to grow to absolutely enormous sizes. So you have this incredibly precise, slow-motion process. But just how long did it take? Well, the answer is just mind-boggling. Let's look at this 500,000-year wait. Scientists were actually able to measure the crystal's growth rate, and it is almost unimaginably slow. I mean, we're talking about growth measured in nanometers per second. This is one of the slowest crystallization rates ever recorded anywhere in a natural setting. To give you an idea of just how ridiculously slow that is, at that glacial pace, just to grow a single crystal beam 1 meter thick would take tens of thousands of years of perfect, stable, uninterrupted conditions. And that brings us to this absolutely staggering number. Based on that growth rate, the largest crystals in the cave are estimated to be about 500,000 years old. That's 500,000 years of perfect, slow-brewing geology. For all that time, for 500,000 years, this incredible world was completely sealed off. So let's get into the human side of the story and see how miners literally stumbled into this lost world completely by accident.
The first discovery happened way back in 1910. Miners were drilling about 120 meters down and found the Cave of Swords, which was pretty impressive with 2-meter-long crystals. But then, fast forward 90 years to the year 2000, they punched through a wall almost 300 meters deep and stumbled into the main event, the Cave of Crystals.
And this comparison really illustrates why that depth is so important. The shallower Cave of Swords cooled down relatively quickly, so it grew lots of smaller crystals. But the deeper Cave of Crystals cooled down far more slowly. It stayed in that perfect growth zone for much, much longer, and that's what allowed those 12-meter giants, those true monsters, to form.
But you know what? The story isn't just about geology. Just when you think it could not possibly get any more amazing, scientists made a discovery inside the crystals themselves that changed everything we thought we knew about life on Earth. So a team led by a NASA astrobiologist, Dr. Penelope Boston, extracted microbes from these tiny bubbles of ancient water that were trapped inside the crystals. These little organisms had been dormant, basically in suspended animation, for up to 50,000 years, and they survived by eating minerals like iron and manganese. Just how alien is this superlife? Well, look at this. The genetic difference between a human and a chimpanzee is about 1.2%. The difference between these Naica microbes and their closest known relatives on Earth is a massive 10%. Dr. Boston herself put it best. She said, "That's like saying we are as related to them as humans are to mushrooms." This represents a completely different branch of life that's been evolving in total isolation for an immense amount of time. This discovery has huge implications, especially for the search for life on other planets. But what about the future of the cave itself? You see, the great irony here is that our ability to even see it has always been completely artificial. The only reason we ever saw inside is because the mining company was constantly pumping out the hot groundwater 24/7. In 2017, when mining operations paused, they turned the pumps off, and the cave naturally started to reflood, which, believe it or not, is actually the best way to preserve the crystals. As of early 2025, mining is ramping back up, so the cave is dry for now, but it's completely sealed off to all visitors and all researchers. And this brings us to a final, really difficult question. This cave was born in isolation, and it can only be truly preserved by returning it to that state, hidden from us forever. So as we close this out, I'll leave you with this to think about. If a natural wonder can only survive by being hidden from humanity, is our discovery of it a triumph or a tragedy?